And we have a bit of an interesting one here to start us off. Their original question is actually, can you make a page about the common misconceptions so that I can share them? However, I think it would be more interesting to actually talk about them. And so here's their full question from Victon. I like to visit different language learning communities on the internet and often see potentially productive discussions hamstrung by misconceptions people have about Refold or immersion learning in general. Someone will maybe criticize Refold for forbidding grammar study or encouraging incomprehensible input, at which point the conversation switches to what is and isn't part of the Refold philosophy. The FAQ touches on a few of these topics, but it would be really nice if there was a specific page where Refold's views on these misconceptions were laid out. That way, whenever someone strawmans immersion learning, they can be simply sent to the correct part of that page. Perhaps it could be done as a community effort, or I wouldn't really mind contributing to it.
Yeah. So first answer, yes, we can definitely create a page like that. We will have to start collecting them, but we have been doing a lot of collection recently, so I can just add that to the list of things to look out for. And we may want to create a segment or a section in the community just to start dropping those in there. Because we see common misconceptions all over Reddit and Twitter and YouTube.
Literally
comments,
anywhere there's a conversation about language learning.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the internet for you, right? Like everything is everybody has misconceived notions. So a couple common ones are, some people think that what we're advocating for is that you don't do any study whatsoever and you just spend a huge amount of time with the language just by like watching incomprehensible TV shows. So that's probably the most common one that we see. Another is that sort of an extension or corollary to that is that you can do like vocab study and immersion, but you can't do grammar study because that like somehow messes up your mental model of it. And then there are some folks who think we're very militant about the no speaking rule. So they think, oh, I will not consider anything that you're advocating for because you say not to speak and I need to speak or I want to speak. And that is not what we're advocating for. Whereas if speaking is your goal and you need to do it or you want to do it earlier, then do it. Just do it with the cognizant of what that means to do it early. So I think those are probably like the three top misconceptions. Ben, can you think of any other ones?
Not off the top of my head. There's a couple others of like whether or not you should just jump right into native content or use beginner content. Mm-hmm. There's some around immersion learning in general, but I think those are the main ones that I see as well. Sure. I think the biggest one that often causes discussions is the grammar one, specifically.
I think, tagging on to what you just said, another one is just that learner materials are off limits. You know, a lot of people think that because there's been an idea for a long time that like, oh, natives don't speak like learner materials speak, therefore you shouldn't use learner materials. We don't have that same militance. Like that is something to consider and to keep in mind, but when you're at the early stages, you want something that's easier because that's going to smooth the process of you actually integrating into the language and help you get to the point where you can enjoy native content a lot faster. Absolutely. So, and I'm not worried about someone learning bad habits from learner materials because it's such a small part of the entire process.
Exactly. Another thing just to mention, like in the Discord rules, it's very early on, rule number 3 is that Refold is a method, not a dogma. It is okay to deviate, and you can absolutely talk about them and talk about why. Like that's totally fine. That's a normal process. We understand that every single person on Earth is going to learn slightly differently. And we want to just at least help them find that way that works best for them.
Yeah, exactly. We sort of see ourselves as just trying to connect the right learner to the right methods and the right tools at the right time. And those right methods and right tools are going to be different per person based on their interests, what they like to do, what technology they have available to them, whether they can spend money, whether they can't. Like, there's so many different factors that we have to consider when making recommendations about what the right thing is to the right person.
So you're saying that all those videos that claim to have the best language learning method aren't true?
I've had this conversation recently. Like, I really don't like the word best, because it's impossible to be best in every category, right? And so when you say best, you are automatically saying we are best in some category, but you're not saying what that category is. So it's just a really imprecise word. I really wish people would be more precise with what they mean by, like, most optimized for X, Y, and Z. I know it's too many words for a marketing slogan, but I wish people would just be more forthright with, like, what they're actually prioritizing.
Totally. Best method for XYZ would even be
because
better than just
Duolingo's slogan is like the best method for language learning. But what they really mean is like the best method for getting people into language learning.
Hey, as you know, there's a lot of language learning advice out there, which can make it kind of overwhelming and difficult to actually get going on your own learning. If you feel like you're struggling to figure out language learning, you're not alone. It's an extremely complicated process with tons of different steps. If you're looking for a step-by-step guide to create the perfect language learning routine for you, then you have to check out our new course. We spent thousands of hours designing a simple and straightforward process that you can use to create your own personalized language routine that actually works. We understand that every learner is different and that you have to roll with the punches and adapt. Every day for 30 days, I walk you through everything you need to know to build an effective learning routine, no matter your circumstances. We give you the advice and resources you need to ensure your success, so you don't have to waste time looking for stuff to do and can focus on learning. And if any questions do come up, don't worry. We are always there to answer any questions and clear up confusion. And it's all backed by our 90-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. If, for whatever reason, something's not quite working for you, we insist you get every penny back. It's time for you to stop wishing that you could learn a second language. It's time to become the master of your language learning journey. Check out the link below to get instant access and start your journey today.